MP and former chair lady of this committee, following the expert roundtable sessions, summarized what has been presented by those experts who came based on a specific request of Parliament, gave their views on the topic at hand. So in essence, what I think this committee should be doing is following up on the proposal or the summary of the roundtable conference. It is nice to have experts come into Parliament and share their views based on a topic that was, and in my opinion, still is of importance for the Parliament. It fit in the discussions and still fit in the discussions today that are taking place on the level of IPCO deliberations. And so I believe that it would behoove this committee to, if not look in the papers that we receive from the different experts who made a presentation here, at least look at a summary that was prepared by the former chair lady of the committee and decide on a way forward. For example, in the proposal by the chair lady following the discussions, the roundtable discussions, was that we get committees, subcommittees of this committee, and the proposal was for 2 of them to look into some of the matters that have been recommended by the panel of experts that was here in Parliament. So, Madam Chair Lady, I think we need to take up that summary and decide on what we want to do with this very relevant information that was presented to the Parliament, and those persons who made the presentations at the time gave their views on the topic from their perspective. And it was about the Charter of the Kingdom, its applicability, etc., and what Parliament felt should be done at this time. So, Madam Chair Lady, again, the summary was made, and my request, therefore, related to following up on that summary and recommendations that were made.
I do, however, want to just mention that it is, in my humble opinion, if it wasn't for the National Alliance faction, namely MP Irian, with bringing forth his motion a couple weeks ago, almost 2 months ago, I don't think that we would be here today having this discussion. I heard a lot of nice words used in terms of the way forward, but still no timelines or no kind of clear indication as to how we as a Parliament want to proceed. Am I to understand that we are now establishing 2 committees within committees to then report back to the committee that we are already a part of in order to move forward? I mean, it's bringing more confusion and clarity to the constituents. It's even confusing for me hearing the explanation. So I would like to know from you, Madam Chair Lady, is it the intention to form 2 committees to report back to ourselves, because we are members of Parliament, because you also asked who wants to be part of the committee? That isn't too clear to me before I proceed with my line of questioning. Thank you.
Hereby I'd like to say that I think that it's a good idea to continue with what has been started in Parliament, and I would like to be a part of the Civic Engagement and Research Subcommittee. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I think it's very much important before we re-establish the petite committees that evaluation is done on how the former petite committees functioned, or what was done from what wasn't done, regardless of the fact of a National Alliance members being a part of it or not, because in order to know where we're going, we gotta know where we're coming from, right? So if indeed re-establishing these petite committees would not be effective, if the revaluation would deem the prior committees ineffective, I think it would be shooting ourselves in the foot if we continue doing it the same old way without evaluating it if it went as initially thought of in the beginning. So before, I mean, they do sound interesting, but I think just signing up for signing up's sake is not what we're here to do. So if we're having let's reflect on how it went to establish how we're going to go and how we're going to do things differently moving forward, because seemingly it was not the most effective before, right? Let's just keep it frank. And before I sign up for something, I would like to know what we're going to be doing differently moving forward.
I would like it to be recalled that my request for this meeting dates from June 8th of 2023, when I asked the Parliament to follow up on the decisions made in this committee. So this has nothing to do with recent developments. It was about follow-up to a decision taken by not a decision really, but a proposal from the chairlady, the former chairlady of this committee, to deal with sessions that we had in Parliament where persons came in and presented their opinion, their view, which I think is the way to go. If Parliament took a stance, a position, based, as I mentioned before, on IPCO consultations as well, and discussions here in Parliament, to invite members of the public who were versed or are versed on the topic to give their view with respect to the Charter and St. Martin's position in the kingdom. That was the request that Dr. Nilda Ardern, the late Mr. Groeneveld, and two others were asked to come into Parliament and present, which they did. Based on those papers, the specific papers from those persons are here at Parliament. They were summarized by the chairlady of this committee, the former chairlady, with then a recommendation by the chairlady to establish the two committees that you referred to before. That is something else than the committees that were also proposed in another CAD meeting to come with, amongst other things, a roadmap to a referendum. So we need to, I think, talking about committees and subcommittees of this committee, I think given what we're hearing, it would be good for this committee to just analyze, one, on the basis of what did the Parliament then invite members of the public to come and give their position on a specific topic. That's a total different discussion, and it was based on the issue of the Charter of the Kingdom, St. Martin's position within the Dutch Kingdom. Then there was another CAD committee in which the chairlady summed it up to be, and that is from the 13th of December 2022, and it was, and now I'm quoting former Chair Lady Duncan, create and propose a roadmap towards a possible referendum. A possible referendum, end of quote. Then the 825, so the basis of this meeting here, was a proposal for action resulting from the expert roundtable. Then we had other CAD committee meetings that spoke about, and that was early in 2023, that spoke about reparatory justice, peremptory norm, decolonization, and the presidium was to engage a contracting party to do an analysis of the legal test. All of these things were discussions and decisions taken in this committee. So hearing what I'm hearing, I think that this committee needs to get an outline of where we're at right now on the different topics, and then you have committees to research whatever. That's my view on this entire matter.
I think it was summed up very well by MP Westcott Williams, because even though I am not a member of this committee, just like any other MP who's not a member, I'm allowed to be here to listen to any discussion, debates being had. But one thing I do also want to point out is that we have two topics that are also, we have two agenda points that tend to get, interchanged based on the committee, the petite committees that you're talking about. And so even if I refer us back to the comment by MP Duran earlier on, he is correct in what he stated about the fact of something coming back on the table based on motions presented during the budget debate. But I will say this, that if we can somehow make sure that this is very clear for what our discussion is going to be based on, given the two interchanging agenda points, it's very confusing. So if it's confusing for me, not because I'm not a member, it's probably confusing for public consumption as well, because we also have people in the Tribune. And then I want us to basically have everyone on the same page as we go forward. That's why both members of Parliament stated it very, very correctly earlier on. And so I just want to bring us back to clarification, please, on two separate agenda points talking about petite committees that relate to actually vote agenda points separately, because we haven't even begun to start our agenda point number 2 on referendum and independence. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Chair Lady, I totally understand where MP York came from concerning the evaluation of the committees. I'm still somewhat in between both stages, because even though the member asked for some clarity on what was done, and your explanation was that you don't have that yet, I would have rather to have that information so I know what was done in those 2 petite committees and where I could align myself better in those 2. But at the same time, Madam Chair Lady, I do understand also what MP Duran just mentioned, because in the first, I think the first 2 months that I came into Parliament, I sent via an email, I asked for a overview of all pending meetings, and I am still awaiting that. And if I had gotten that, then I think if MP York and MP Duran would have received that, he would not have made that comment either. Thank you, Madam Chair Lady.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah. Your social and health insurances.
Thank you for taking the time to watch the previous enlightening presentation from Grace Hill Bible University, St. Martin Campus's Suicide Assessment and Prevention Masterclass, themed Igniting Hope in Our Community, Preventing Suicide. We are extremely grateful to the Honorable Minister of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, Mr. Richard Brooke, and his cabinet for agreeing to collaborate with us. This masterclass was presented by the students of the Master's Counseling Degree Program of Grace Hill Bible University, St. Martin Campus, both as a public service and as part of their grade for the course, Introduction to Suicide Prevention, Assessment, and Treatment. I am Dr. Erna Mae Francis Cotton, the chair and developer of Grace Hill Bible University's Counseling Degree Program for the St. Martin Campus, in collaboration with Victorious Living Foundation, of which I am the visionary. Victorious Living provides personal and professional development tools to transform families, relationships, youth, individuals, and organizations through coaching, training, counseling, retreats, workshops, and conferences. Let me briefly share about Grace Hill Bible University so you understand the mission and vision of the university. Grace Hill Bible University equips men and women for Christian living and Christian service worldwide. Its vision is to bring glory to God and hope to the world by preparing students for Christian service. GHBU is accredited by Global Accreditation Association for Biblical Institutions, which is authorized by the state of New Jersey. The degrees and programs offered either meet or exceed the New Jersey status. The university was founded by its president, Dr. Aldanza Ambrose. The dean of the St. Martin campus is Dr. Orlando Wilson. So who am I? And why do I qualify to be able to develop and teach a master's level counseling degree program? Well, I co-developed the grief counseling course for the Bachelor of Science in Social Work for the University of the West Indies. I graduated with honors from the University of Tampa in 1995 with a BA in psychology. I earned a master's in counseling with emphasis in marriage and family therapy from the Oral Roberts University in 2000. I was awarded an honorary Doctor of Divinity by Grace Hill Bible University in 2006. I'm a certified success coach with the International Coaching Federation, a certified lifestyle prescription health coach, and emotional freedom techniques practitioner. I also obtained specialized certification in trauma therapy and have been successfully providing therapy and coaching locally and internationally for the past 25 years. In short, I am a master therapist who helps my clients to transform their lives. Several years ago, I was asked by the Dean of Grace Hill Bible University to teach a biblical psychology class. And while preparing to teach that class, I did some soul searching and admitted to myself, too many people in our societies are emotionally, psychologically, relationally, and spiritually challenged. As a result, our families and communities are experiencing dysfunctional and unhealthy relationships. I determined that if I am truly to help our students make an impact on our island and the world, they must be equipped to meet people where they hurt most and have the necessary skill set and mindset to transform their lives. Consequently, I set out to design and develop Grace Hill Bible University St. Martin campus's counseling degree program. I'm delighted to share that we've had several pioneers who graduated from the program and are making a difference on St. Martin and in the world. Our classes are offered online through our virtual classroom. Therefore, anyone from around the world is able to access our courses. We provide the curious learner who has a passion to counsel the fundamentals of counseling to be able to address the growing needs and challenges in our societies. Courses include Christian counseling from an African indigenous perspective, utilizing energy psychology in counseling, effective counseling techniques for transforming the lives of children, young people, and families, which is being offered this semester. The fundamentals of marriage counseling, counseling ethics, suicide assessment, prevention and treatment, spouse abuse, a treatment program for couples, effective grief counseling, counseling practicum, counseling internship, and more. Last semester, our deep dive focus was suicide assessment, treatment, and prevention. Our island has experienced the tragic loss of precious souls over the past several months due to suicide, which has sent shock waves in our community. Our hearts go out to the families who have been directly affected by these deaths. It is therefore absolutely imperative that as a nation, we are aware of the signs that someone is contemplating suicide, and that we have the necessary tools to support and encourage them to find better solutions to their challenges. Therefore, this course serves such a need. Together, and I mean together, we can transform the health of our nation through education, and we can prevent suicide by igniting hope in the hopeless. Thank you for your attention, and together let's take care of ourselves and each other and transform our nation.
SXM, your social and health insurance. SXM, your social and health insurance.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXV, yeah, your social and health insurances.
It's time for a new brand that is as bold, vibrant, and colorful as the island of St. Martin, with colors drawn from our diversity, cultural heritage, and nature. Our breathtaking beaches, waters, and sun, the majestic brown pelican, our national symbol, the radiant yellow sage, our national flower, the historic border monument signifying the Dutch and French sides, our exciting cruise, yachting, and boating ports, renowned Maho Beach and St. Martin Airport, the hub to the Caribbean. All these parts come together to create the shape of the island of St. Martin. More than a logo. It's a new brand that engages, excites, and will inspire travelers to book. It's time to tell the St. Martin story, to reintroduce travelers to St. Martin, to honor our past, to embrace our present, and shape our future. Our culture and diversity, Dutch and French sides, unrivaled cuisine, twice the nightlife, entertainment, and shopping, cruises, boating, and yachting, twice the adventure, exploration, and relaxation, splendid and scenic accommodations, Pinel, Tentamar, and island hopping in the Caribbean. Whatever your taste, St. Martin has more. Experience twice the Caribbean. St. Martin.
lifted the moratorium on the issuance of casino license. A license was issued to Sunset, while their Port-au-Plaisance still have a casino that is operating. They did not meet the requirement of 200 rooms, neither the 65% by law. They have 80 rooms, 40%. So can you tell me if the moratorium was lifted? When was it lifted? Where was it published? If you can divulge that information for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Bibi, for your question. No, it was not lifted. The Port-au-Plaisance casino license that was there before was a standalone license that got transferred to Sunset. And based on a letter from the former Minister of TIAT stating that they would have to meet the criteria of 65% of rooms, and then they will be eligible to receive a license. That was met according to the TIAT ministry, and then they were able to then get a license. But no moratorium has been lifted. This license that they received for Port-au-Plaisance is based on a former request by the former Minister of TIAT, stating that once they have met the requirements of 65%, which they did according to my department, and that's how they were able to receive the casino license.
Let me get a clarification on that, because if you're telling me that the former Minister Lambrix gave a letter, a promise, to issue a license based on the 65. Minister, last week I was there. They have 80 rooms. That's 40% of 200. There's no 65. When the story came out, they start putting lines to construct rooms. How many more rooms are they going to construct? The 200? It's not yet in place. Minister, if you're telling me that you issued or allowed a new casino to operate, knowing our economy and what is going on with the livelihood of locals on St. Martin. And you said it's okay to do that. But the same minister issued a hell load of bus license and taxi license. And what did you do? You ordered an investigation by SOAB and even the Integrity Chamber. How do we balance this? If it's okay to give a businessman, is it by class? Is it local doesn't have any value? Because you're telling me it's okay to give somebody a license, a casino license to say the least, and a taxi or a bus license, even though the files were incomplete. I read those reports. I understand them. But how do you explain this to the people of St. Martin?
Bibi, first and foremost, that's a lot of assumptions and very little question. First and foremost, I did not, I can't even remember how many questions you asked or how many statements, so let me just dive through and make it clear moving forward. I will address everything you just stated in writing to show the steps I take. I have the utmost respect for the TIAT ministry, and I'm going based on their judgment. And based on their judgment and continuity, that's how I continued and moved on further for the casino license. And lastly, I'd like to clarify that statement of yours stating that I called SOAB. Again, I said it once, I said it twice, and I'm going to say it again. SOAB and Integrity Chamber knocked on my door. I don't run after them. They came to me and said that they want to do the reports on bus and taxi licenses. When I started it, I stopped, I halted, and they continued. So let's make that clear, Bibi, that I was not the one to ask SOAB and Integrity Chamber to do these reviews. They came to me. And thirdly, I would like to clarify that, again, I will make sure, go through the full procedure and in writing, address it actually publicly, because some of your statements are assumptions and I need to clarify it factually. I will put a press statement out to show factually, or maybe send it to you directly, how we moved, how the procedures was done for Port-au-Plaisance. Thank you.
For us to clarify, SOAB did a free investigation into the taxi license?
They came to us. And if they
Just
say
like
they're going
that.
to come and do an investigation on it, then so be it. Yes?
Thank you, Minister. Bibi, just to let you know, once the moderator asks you to stop, can you kindly adhere to that? We will continue. Emily, you have the floor.
Good morning, Minister. All indications are that the current high season for St. Martin has been a positive season in terms of occupancy and in terms of the average daily rates. But St. Martin's problem historically has been that after Easter, occupancy rates all drop, and the shoulder seasons and summer seasons are where businesses give back the profits that they made in the high season. Can you tell us concretely, what are the planned actions of the Department of Tourism to promote the island in order to address the shoulder and summer season?
Thank you, Emil, for your question. That is something that is a high priority for the TIAT ministry and, well, the cabinet, my cabinet, and the STB. That's a high priority for us. It's mainly focusing on how do we get slow season, how do we eradicate slow season? Of course, there's going to be a month in the year that's going to be slow, which is September. But we are looking at doing more events, more conferences, and I mentioned it earlier in one of them is that I mentioned it earlier in my statement earlier that we're looking at getting a conference built that can hold at least 1,000, hopefully 2,000. With something like that, then we can host a lot of major events between May, June, July, August, September, no, and October. So I'm looking at mainly creating, like, changing St. Martin into a more entertainment and engaging type of country, instead of just a shopping, duty-free shopping area. So that's one of the key ways of doing it. And of course, increasing marketing efforts around that time prior to. So in winter, you promote summer, a little more, an uptake in marketing, especially on social media and in certain, and also increasing maybe looking at new avenues to have new airlines come to us in the slow season.
So just for clarity, in order to affect the shoulder season and summer season, those marketing activities need to be active now. From what I understood, what you described are plans for the future.
Right.
Can you explain what marketing activities that you have concretely funded and active now to address the shoulder and summer?
We haven't been able to. You know already, as you know, Emil, we are just, this is actually the first year this government is actually operating. So, and also the budget that we have, we inherited. And I'd like to make that clear for the public that we inherited the 2025 budget because we came in May, and this budget was submitted in March 2024. So I would say these ideas will be more fruit. You'll see the fruit of this labor mainly in 2026 because of what we because of what we have right now on with the budget that we have right now. So, but the idea is to come up with more of a concrete plan moving forward to increase and do an uptick of marketing of 2026 moving forward.
The Minister of Rome explained about the beach bar in Simpson Bay that is within the made brief. A few weeks ago, you said you had not granted a beach permit. Did you since then grant a beach permit for the beach bar or a permit for water sports? And if not, under what permit is this beach bar going to operate? If it's under economic license, this is the owner of 721. It's a French nationality. How does that work? So what permits do they have to operate the bar?
That beach bar, the one where you're talking about, the one near Mary's Boone? That beach bar?
Yes.
That beach bar, I think, has been issued a permit, I think, prior to me. And I personally haven't issued any water sports permit or anything. And I think that goes under a director's license, seeing that the owner is not from here. So I think this was issued prior to me. It hasn't. I haven't done anything with that bar. Nothing has come to my desk personally regarding that beach bar.
But if you want to rent out beach chairs, you need to
request beach permits. But I haven't received any requests from that. Not to my knowledge. I would have to maybe check personally and do an in-depth research and find out more. But I can't. To my knowledge personally, I personally haven't assigned anything regarding that beach bar or any beach.
Will you be willing to?
Or any water sports. I think there's a moratorium on water sports, isn't there? I haven't lifted any moratorium to date.